on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. Today we are being joined by Rosario Urritia. Rosario is a radiesthesia and dowsing expert. Before starting with Rosario, we want to remind you that Mindalia.com is an international non-profit organization and that you can collaborate with us just by liking this video, leaving us a positive comment, subscribing to our channel, or sharing our content with someone that you know that may like it. Having said that, I have the great pleasure of introducing Rosario Urrutia. Rosario, thank you for being with us. How are you?
Oh, thank you, Mirna. Thanks a lot to Mindalia. I had to ask my soul if she was ready to speak in English in a conference, and she said, yes, we are ready. So I am very happy to share with you my experiences that I have had with Radiesthesia during my life.
Thank you, Rosario. It is our great pleasure to have you. It's important that you guys know that we do this in Spanish. Every day we have 6 live streamings on our Spanish channel, but we didn't want people to miss the fact that we are talking very interesting things. So what are we doing? We're just adventuring and we're doing this in Spanish, and we hope it's worth it. It is worth it, of course. Rosario, this is something that I know it's been out there for centuries, if not,
Yeah.
right? But most people are not familiar with what is it that you do. In fact, I've seen it, but I didn't even know how it was called until, of course, you told me. And I'm very curious about it. If someone approaches you and tell you, Rosario, what is it? What do you do? What's radiesthesia? What is... I don't even know if I'm saying it properly in English, but let's call it dowsing. What is it? What's that science?
Okay, it has two interpretations. I can say from the scientific side that radiesthesia is a science, but it's also an art that teaches you how to interpret the movements of energy. You know that everything is energy. We have energy, dense energy, like ourselves, but there's also a less dense energy, energy that we cannot see with our physical eyes, but that we can touch with our hands and feel with our body. Our body is a perfect sensor, and we have special sensitivity in the tips of our fingers, in our hands. And sometimes when we touch something, but we really don't touch it, we can feel a movement. And I could ask why this happens, because the information travels through my arm to my brain, and my brain sends a response to my hand through a movement. And that movement is what I am interpreting through radiesthesia. I am not guessing anything. I am not supposing anything. I am measuring.
So
And
you're
that's
using
why,
your... I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let me jump right there. Because basically what you're telling me is you're using your nervous system.
yes.
It's nothing, it's not coming from anything outside. You are just using your nervous system, and you're just very aware of how your body is reacting to certain fields of information, right?
Right. In fact, animals have this sensitivity too, because it's something innate in them. For example, if a camel is walking on a desert, uh, in a moment he will feel a click in his body. He will go one step back, he will lower his trunk, and he will find water. And he is sure that that click is telling him, there's the water. You can lower your trunk. Even birds that are flying up in the sky, they feel that click in the body, that movement, and they come back. I remember that there's a story, a real story in a book that tells that there was a bird found in the middle of the desert next to a canteen. The canteen was a metal one, and it was the bird tried to perforate it, but of course couldn't do it and died. And the bird was next to the canteen in the middle of the desert. What does that mean? That means that the bird was flying up in the sky and he felt the click and he knew there was water inside the canteen. That's incredible, but we have that sensors too. We can have that capacity, and we all have that capacity. The thing is that we didn't develop that since we were kids. We were not taught how to feel our body, how to feel when our body says, no, don't go that way, go the other way. Sometimes we just do it, but we are not aware of that information, of that body, that marvelous body that says us, don't go there, go the other side. And it works like this. For example, I used to work my pendulum, and I also use the dowsing rods to do my work. I usually use this when I go to houses to search for radiation, for water currents under the earth, or heart magnets, or telluric cracks also, because all those things, all those geographical accidents of the atmosphere and of the earth send a magnetic field. And if you are sleeping on that magnetic field, you are going to be ill because your body can stand in those areas just for a while, but not for a whole night, for 1 year, for 2 years, no, it's very dangerous. So part of my work is go to houses, and sometimes I just get the croquis, the drawing of the house, and I do it with my pendulo. If the house is on China or in other country, I do it through a map. It's the same because we are connected. And that is the other information about radiesthesia. We all are connected. We are part of the same energy. And if somebody from China talks to me right now in the phone and says, Rosario, I need please an assessment. I am not feeling well. I ask him, give me your name, give me your birth date, and that's all I need. And I start checking the information that many time ago, I started with this 30 years ago. I had my manual for physical causes, another manual for the emotional ones, the spiritual ones, the past life, the ancestors, so many manuals. But now I don't use anything because because radiesthesia, what is doing on you is developing your intuition in a very high level. So you can be in any place. You maybe don't have your pendulum with you or your rods, but you have your feeling, you have your hands. You can go in front of the shampoos in the supermarket and says, what is the best shampoo for me today for my best good? And you just see them and your body will say yes, or will go backwards and say no. And you know what to select, what of all the brands of carrots that you are seeing, what type of lettuce, what type of chicken.
I want that talent.
Is correct for you, what is good for you, what is not toxic for you.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So basically, if I didn't know anything, which I don't, I don't know anything about it, and I'm surprised and I am amazed. I love it. It's you're going to the very basic instincts. You are going back to a very primal state of your consciousness in which you are aware, because it happens. Animals know, they know when the predator is around, they know how to behave, they know if the predator is hungry, because I have also learned that they do know if the predator is around. If he's not hungry, they will move, but if he's hungry, they know. So you're going back to that primal state. How did you start in this? What made you get in
Well,
contact with such an
it's
amazing
a long
science?
story, but I had 4 girls, and when my last girl went to school, I was a 24-time agenda mother. But when the last one went to school, I started to work. in the mornings so that I could be available in the afternoons to be with them, to help with homework, to buy things they needed, etc., etc. But I started with a pain in my throat, and that was the beginning of a big illness that I had to go to the hospital about 4 or 5 times. I had 14 doctors looking at me in the best hospital of Guatemala, and I got chemotherapy. I got high doses of cortisone. Uh, I have I had different diagnostics. All were different, but the final one, the last one, said to me, "You better go to the United States because we don't know what else to do with you here." When they said me that, I said, "I cannot go to the United States to pay a hospital. I had to see for myself." And I always liked to study a lot. And I started making my combinations of homeopathy, reading about homeopathy. Then a book came, then a doctor, then a natural medicine. And I went into the career to study for 5 years natural medicine. And that's why I started in all this. I wanted to live. And I found that it was not only to check the radiation in my house, to change my fillings in my teeth, to change my diet, but I had to make many important emotional decisions that I hadn't made. So I learned too many things. And from that point, I started working on this after I finished my career, and I met my teacher, Ursula. She was a German lady, 80 years old, and was studying for being a natural medicine practitioner. And she was the teacher of Radiesthesia, but she did it in a particular way. And I started going to her house every day to learn with her, because when I saw her working with the pendulum, my eyes opened like two stars, and I said, "This is it." Yes.
It was a wake up call. So in the end, what you were going through was it was a blessing. It was every single part of you calling you to go fulfill that mission. Because now we know you, we have you. You've been with us in Spanish several times, and you've been helping people with these techniques for what, 30 years now?
Yes, 30 years. And what I can say is that from thousands and thousands of diagnostics or assessments that I have made, no one is repeated. Every single diagnostic or assessment is different, because what I search is the causes for illness. Maybe I can find that a person has chlorine in his body, and I have to say the person, "Please do not use more chlorine because you have that in your body as a toxic, and we have to remove it. And if you continue using the chlorine, we cannot remove it, and your kidneys, for example, cannot get well." There are so many things that people
Physical
don't know.
illness, right? You cure like physical things, not only the emotional one, which now we know that it's the source or the where all that is rooted, but you actually cure people with symptoms, physical symptoms in their physical bodies, right?
Yes, because when I start, for example, I start with the food, and I have a long list of food, and I ask people, for example, "What do you eat for breakfast?" And people says to me, "An egg, a coffee." No, no, wait, I say, "An egg with what type of oil? What brand?" Because I have to check if it's a sunflower, if it's a what else? Corn oil, if it's another type of oil. And I have to check and say to the people, "Okay, you can have the egg, but you can not use this oil. You have to change to this." Okay, and then said I continue. "Oh, you have coffee with milk. What kind of milk? What brand?" I check. So people first has to check all what they eat to see exactly what their body says no, right? And then I have a list of toxins where I check if the person has chlorine, if he has gasoline in his body, thinner. I have a long list to check because sometimes.
We are actually exposed to that on a daily basis, and we can have it within our bodies. It
Yes,
happens, it gets inside.
yes, people that likes to paint, for example, or that paint walls or houses, and they are in contact with certain types of paint that have, for example, I don't know how to say, plomo,
Lead.
lead, yes, they are intoxicated with lead, and they don't know that. And you have to find a product, a natural product that has the same frequency of the lead in the body of that person so that you can remove the lead. It's not anything. It's not that I say you, oh, for kidneys is good, this medicine. No, it has to have the same frequency as the thing that I am removing. For example, if you have a Staphylococcus aureus, I have to check which product has the same frequency to remove exactly this staphylococcus from your body. If not, it's not going to work. I am very happy now to know that many doctors are using this technique or kinesiology to check the antibiotics and the medicines that they ask people to take, because that there is exact information. And I am not trying this medicine and it didn't work, and then I'm going to try the other one and it didn't work, and okay, let's try the other one. No, you have to check exactly what the body says. Click, says yes, this is the one.
And that is what I find super interesting is the fact that you have said that no case is the exact same. Because they may be facing the same toxins, they may be facing the same disease, the same, I don't know, bacteria. But
Yes.
how are you going to fight it with the same thing you fight every other person if the context of their own biology may not be the exact same, right?
Right. And that happens also with the feelings, because a person has, for example, um, diabetes, high blood sugar. Um, for every person, the information, the feeling have to be different. Yes, it has to be with something that produced in me bitterness. I lost the sweet part of life. Yes, but every person will have a different situation. And you have to go into that specific information to help people to know what happened to them. For example, I can check with dowsing, with radiesthesia. I say to people, okay, you have diabetes, for example, John, a person, an ex-person. And I can say to John, okay, John, your diabetes started, and I go 0 to 5 years old, 5 to 10 years old, 11 years old, the pendulum will go strong. And I said, at 11 years old of your life, what happened to you?
Because the pendulum is just responding to the movement on your body because your body connects to that information. How?
Right. Right. It's like, for example, people ask me, ask the pendulum if my liver is okay now. No, I said, I am not asking the pendulum anything. I am the sensor. The pendulum is only a tool. Like, for example, a carpenter is going to make a table and he uses the hammer as an instrument. The one that is making the table is a carpenter, but the hammer is an instrument that helps him to make the table. Or, for example, if I am giving a conference with many people, I use a microphone. I am the one who gives the conference, but the microphone is a tool that helps me to amplify my voice. I receive the signals in the tip of my fingers. In fact, all my arm moves when I don't use a pendulum, but it hurts. So the pendulum receives the palpitations of my fingers, of the tip of my fingers, and that creates a movement. It's the same movement that I feel in my hand, with the difference that this is a small movement and doesn't hurt my shoulder and my arm. And if I don't use it, it's very, very hard. So the same thing with the rods. I can use the rods to go and search for water, for a water well, for, you know, that in ancient times, the kings hired people
Yeah.
that worked with Radiesthesia to find mines of gold, of diamonds, of different minerals. And many mines were discovered by people that worked with dowsing.
Yes,
And
I've
what
heard
I
that.
want to say is that I can use this, but I can use my arms as dowsing rods, and they will work. And they will go like this, crazy, but that will hurt my arms.
Okay. And if I wanted, for example, if I wanted to know, I haven't been able to eat chocolate for quite some times,
Okay.
for a long time. I'm sorry. So can you provide me with a tool, with a solution, with a reason on why I can't eat chocolate?
Okay. I check first. Chocolate is not good for A. Is good for you chocolate? And the answer is no. The energy goes back. And I ask, it's a physical cause why you cannot eat chocolate? No. It's an emotional? Yes. It's an emotional cause. It goes past life information? No. Ancestors information? No. It was on your mother's womb? Yes. It started when you were inside your mother. That means that the problem was your mother's, not yours. But as you were inside, you came with this. And probably when you were a kid, you ate chocolate and it hurt your stomach, but you didn't care until you were more an adult and you started taking care of yourself and checking what you should eat and what you don't. But that is something physical, a physical problem from your mother. No, it's an emotional thing of your mother. Yes, that is an emotional issue of your mother that she should work. And you should understand, because if you understand and you remove it, there are many techniques now. You probably could again eat chocolate.
That would be super. And when people come and have a consultation with you, they leave not only knowing what's the source of their problem, but you can also provide them with a solution, right?
Of course, the work is to detect the causes that are provoking the illness, because usually people comes with physical symptoms. They don't come and say to you, listen, I need to forgive. No, they don't come like this. They come because they have a pain, they have a headache, they cannot process certain foods, because they feel depressed, because they feel tired. And you have to look for the causes in order, but in the order that their energy is selecting for them, not what I want to do with them, not the therapy that I want to use with them, but the therapy that they select. For example, when I finish my diagnosis, I put in the information solutions, and I have to check in everything that I found, what is the solution? What do I suggest, but exactly measured that will be the solution? What kind of therapy they should do to be healed? Not what I suppose, what I am checking with their energy. I have to respect what their energy, what their soul wants to do, needs to do. And there is the correct information.
Now, let me ask you something. We've been talking about about energy. We know that our body is just dense energy that has found this form that we can see, that we can touch, that our eyes can see, right? Um, can what is your intake? What do you think about the beings that are no longer here, or whatever is around us? Do we share space with
Oh, yeah.
other beings that are not necessarily in this form?
Oh, well, this will be the spiritual part of my workshops. Yeah, there are many cases when people comes and say, listen, I feel my heart strange. Uh, I feel like it's gonna stop sometimes, or I feel anxiety, or I feel whatever. And when I check, because I check, okay, let me check the causes. I said, it's physical, no. It's emotional, no. It's a spiritual, yes. It goes in a yes. And I start checking, and I said, oh, listen, you have a spirit attachment. What's that? Because we are not accustomed to listen those things, because we were not taught about that. But there are many, many times when a person already died, and for some reason that person stays in this plano, in this plane, and there are some spirits that need help to go and continue their evolution, and they approach us to our aura, and we just feel something, we don't know what is it, but with this tool, with this technique, you can take your pendulum and ask, is somebody here with me? Yes, okay. Well, I will ask, is somebody with me here? Yes, there's somebody here with me. Oh, there are many, many beings here with me now. Yes, many. Okay. And with you too, así que, okay. Is there somebody that needs help in this moment that is here near my aura? Yes. Okay. Can I, when I finish here, can I uh, light a white candle and it will help to you? No. A yellow one? Yes. Only one candle is enough? Yes. So when I finish this conference with you, I will light on a yellow candle, because that's the information that this spirit needs to go in peace.
Do you know why? Do you know why the candle? Because we have heard that many times, and we instinctively go ahead and feel this connection through a candle. It kind of puts us in this state of mind of, I don't even know what it is, but it brings us peace in a way. So why is it still something that would bring someone that is no longer in this physical form, bringing them peace?
It could be a candle, it could be music. I could select if it's water, if it's a prayer, if I have to sing something, if I have to anything. It can be anything. I just thought of a candle, but it can be anything. Remember that a candle is a vibration also. It's a frequency. And the color combined with the fire, it's a frequency. It could be water, maybe. And I could say, oh, I can use water in a certain type of color glass. It says no. Now I felt immediately it's a candle. And it's the frequency of the fire combined with the elements that have the candle uh, and the fire and the color, which makes the difference and will make a click with this spirit and will help him to go. Oh, it's super interesting.
What
Yes.
is the what it's, in these many years of experience, is there any particular case that you feel that changed everything, that or what is that very curious, very unlikely thing that happened to you? Is there something that you would maybe want to share with us?
Well, we had a case of a man. Well, all the cases are very, very, very interesting, but we had a case of a man that was going to be operated about a problem in his heart. His arteries were almost clogged, and he was going to have 4 bypasses. That's an open heart operation, right? And he was programmed to have the operation, the surgery, in 15 days. And he went to the clinic and said to us, I have 15 days to try. I will try whatever you say to me. Okay, we say. And I had 2 of the therapists that work with me make a double Reiki therapy every day for 15 days. That was a 4-hand Reiki. but they are really strong, those therapies. And when he went for the surgery, I asked him to please make first the examination to check the every vein or artery that was clogged. And they didn't make the surgery. The doctor said, you have your veins, your arteries completely clean. We don't need to do any surgery. And that was in 15 days. But why? Because I select in among all the therapies that are more or less 30 therapies that we manage, and that was the one that his energy marked a double Reiki therapy. And that's what we did. And it was really amazing for the doctors. They said, oh, it's a miracle. Yes, it's a miracle. But it's a miracle of working with the adequate therapy and with the exact frequency that the person needed. Of course, this person continued working all his emotional issues, because it's not magic. It's not only that you are cured and you will continue living as you are. No, you have to make changes. You have to make changes in your attitudes. Sometimes we have to leave people, leave places, and that's so difficult, but we have to do it.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that many times you have faced people telling you that what you do is just it's a witch thing, that it's magic, that it's not true. How do you handle that at this point?
Well, in this time of story, it's easier, and for all the new therapists, this is easier. When I started 30 years ago, it was really difficult. I remember that the neighbors passed in front of the clinic, putting their hands here like this. Like, I don't want to see that house. It was the White House. And it's a big house with different clinics.
And now I'm pretty sure they all go there and treat themselves there, right?
Yes, yes. And also we had the meetings of the neighbors in that house. Yes, that's true. And this has been changing in the mind of people also, because 30 years ago, when I appeared in television with my pendulum, I think it was terrific for many people. And I also had some kind of problems with the religion. And I had to say to myself, okay, Rosario, now you don't have a title here of what religion do you have? No more. You are you live in the planet. You have to learn whatever the planet and the universe has to teach you. And there are things that you will feel, this thing no, but this thing yes. And so I had to change the way that I see what is religion also.
I'm pretty sure that you're very happy with the decision you made, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It is I keep surprising myself, and I think that if I want to take something from this conversation is the fact that every single person is different, and
Yes.
we made that mistake of actually just assuming that a certain pill or a certain treatment is going to do well on us just because our neighbor or our friend did it and it's supposed to work on. But
Yes.
I guess that it can even happen with diets. We are so concerned about maintaining weight, and people are making like the same diet. Can you help people, for example, with such a situation, losing weight, for example, gaining weight?
Of course, because the most of the times it's not the diet. The most of the times there is an emotional problem or a thing that comes from past lives or an ancestor's problem. You have to search for that. Or sometimes there is a self-sabotage. Many times I have found people that has recorded in his subconscious mind, I want to die. And they thought that, or they desired that, or they repeated that some time ago, but that is already recorded here. And the universe, I say to them, the universe reads you, and you have here, I want to die. And the universe only says to you, okay, you want to die? That's up to you. So we have to change programations, and we have, for example, to use the EFT technique and say, I love life. I want to live, and I want to be happy. I want to discover the good things of life. I want to love. I want so many things we want. And that changes the energy, modulates the energy. And in that moment, people already feels the different, because the energy is different when you install a new belief in your subconscious mind. You feel different in that precise moment. I remember that in one of the Mindalia conferences, I did this exercise and I said, everybody, please repeat and think as you are pressing in the computer, the enter thing, and you are doing, I am happy to live, I am happy, healthy, and successful, and breathe that information and repeat again, I am happy, healthy, and successful. And many people wrote to me after that saying that, wow, they felt a difference in that same moment in their energy, and they felt different. But with a new programming in the subconscious mind, you work different.
We
But
are
you didn't know that.
hypnotized. We are all under a hypnotic state of unhappiness. And
Yeah. You know what worries me is that 90% of people is depressed. And that is not possible. 90% of people that I attend is depressed. And they wake up every day like, well, let's start the day. It's not possible. That's not the that was not the
you
original.
didn't come here for that.
We didn't come for that. No, no. And when you start analyzing why every person is depressed, every person has different causes. And you have to search individually.
Probably it's just too scary. Probably, getting out of that depression, of that not wanting to leave, requires guts, requires someone that's gonna say, you know what, the world is not gonna. The world is not gonna stop for me to be comfortable. I'm gonna have to pull some levers here, and I'm gonna need to make some changes, and it's gonna hurt, right? But,
Yes.
but we prefer to be very comfy in our sadness and complain, criticize.
Yes, I remember a lady that came to the consultation and says to me, I have headache every day, terrible headaches, but please, Rosario, I need a pill. I don't need that you tell to me that I have to forgive somebody, please. So I said to her, you came to the wrong place then. You have to look for another person, because this is not the place for you.
Go to the drugstore, get ibuprofen, because this is not what you're gonna be finding here.
You know, even animals,
That was exactly what I was gonna
they
ask
need
you.
to be treated
Favorite topic.
also in their emotional area. They also need to be treated in their emotional area.
Are we loved? Are we being? Are we loving in your particular opinion on what you see out there? Are we loving ourselves? Are we being loved properly? And are we loving other people the way we should?
No, no, no. I
What's
think
your
we
what's
are we
your
are
how
trying.
can we learn that? Such a hard task.
Well, there are many tasks we have to do. Every person has many tasks, but uh, maybe if we start looking other people with the eyes of love, and we ask, what are the eyes of love? Maybe if we think of great masters that have really saw people with the eyes of love, we could be different. We could act different, and we could be more compassionate. We could be more comprehensive. Um, we are judging all the time. That is not possible if you want to see with the eyes of love. That cannot continue being like that.
But it's easy. It's easy to criticize and to put the blame on someone else. Because
Oh yeah,
who wants to look within and find what you have there, and all the
yeah.
trash.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's difficult also to believe that when you are looking the problem in the other person, that person is just helping you like a mirror so that you can see that that issue has something to do with you. Maybe in the positive extreme or maybe in the negative extreme, but that issue has to do with you. And that person is helping you like a mirror, like a perfect mirror that lives provide you.
We are about to close. Our time is up, and I want to ask you if you could fix one thing. If you were given a magic wand, which you do have two magic wands, but if you were given the possibility of fixing right now a world problem or something in regards to our reality, the way we live, society actually, if you could fix something in society right now, what would you fix? This is like a beauty contest type of question.
I will ask people to learn about the energy, because learning about how to feel the energy, they can know more about themselves and about others. Eh, if you don't, you many people talks about the knowledge about yourself and the knowledge about yourself. But what's the knowledge about yourself? Is knowing, for example, that if I woke up today with the pain in my right foot, I say, oh, I had a problem yesterday with my neighbor and I was angry and I couldn't do this. Okay, I have to heal this. I am going to use the blue because the blue says me click, makes me a click. That's knowing yourself. But if I don't know, I don't have that knowledge for myself, I will go to take a pill to remove the pain in my foot. And I will say, people, the world needs to know more about themselves, to feel, really feel, and have more knowledge about me. And that allows you to know more about the other people and to understand other people. Sometimes somebody can tell you something that you get angry, but if you really can check his energy and you can really notice that it was not personal for you, you will not feel angry.
Love it. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Rosario. You took this invitation, you thought about it, and you finally said yes. We are super happy that you did it. We didn't came here to speak perfect English. If we could, we would, but it's as our second language, and we love sharing with the people that are seeing us in many, many people that do not have English as the first language as well. Do you want to say goodbye now?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity, because it's my soul expressing through my throat and through my hands and my body. Uh, this is the first time that I have this opportunity, and I feel my soul very happy. Thank you
What
for
else could we
listening
ask you?
and trusting in me. Thank you.
Thank you again for allowing the Mindalia TV cameras to be a channel for your ideas. Thank you for your time. And to those of you that are watching, we just want to remind you that Mindalia.com is an international nonprofit organization. You can help us just by liking this channel, leaving us a positive comment on this video, subscribing to our channel, and you can also share this information with someone that you think may like the content. We have nothing else to say by now. Just goodbye and thank you again. Until next time.